Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just now was the video from our sponsor of Virtual Science Fair 2021. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to Kenanga Investors Berhad for sponsoring us throughout the event. Ladies and gentlemen, we meet again in VSF Science Exhibition brought to you by Virtual Science Fair 2021. My name is Amira Irianti and I will be the MC for today. It is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the VSF Science Exhibition 2021, and I believe we are all ready for our second student body's Environmental Management. For your information, Environmental Management is an association that produces informed and environmentally conscious graduates with a focus on sustainable development. I'm pretty sure that we are all thrilled to learn more, so I would like to welcome Ms. Loveline Ubung Martin, Ms. Eng Chai Chi, and Ms. Eng Jashin to conduct their sharing session. I feel there is some technical issue. So before we actually start, maybe Ms. Eng Jashin and Ms. Eng Chai Chi can tell briefly about environmental management and how what inspire you to further in this association or to join this association. I see there's a slides going on, so I think you can proceed lah.
Hi everyone, I'm Chaiki, and you can call me Chucky actually. Oh, let's Loveline to proceed my part. Actually, I will be a one presenter of this. I'm joined this course because I'm interested in environmental field. I feel very pain and feel very like angry when humans like the ecosystem is keep going to destroy. So I'm joining Six Stars to contribute my parts in the environmental field. Yeah, this is my point.
Yes, thank you, Chaichi, for sharing why you have decided to take environmental management. So, all of you must be wondering what exactly is Bachelor of Science in Environmental Management? It's not exactly a really popular course, isn't it? I mean, usually when you think of courses in biology, you think of something like biotechnology, microbiology, even genetics. But environmental management, isn't that something that's kind of new? And to be honest, while the entire course is new, the concepts, the things that we learn are not exactly new and they're extremely beneficial to our society today. So my name is Loveline Ubong Martin and I'm here to present as well as with my friends Jashin and Chai Chi about environmental management, what we learn, what we do, and how it can benefit the world today. So for the next slide, I'm going to present to you how we are going to understand environmental management today. So, environmental management, in order to understand more about this course and why it's necessary, we'll need to understand the goals of environmental management. So, some of the goals of environmental management is firstly the control of hazards such as pollution, also the use and conservation of natural resources. How can we use and conserve our natural resources? The protection of habitats, such as your forests, your beaches, or your wetlands, to minimize environmental degradation, which is to make sure that our environment is conserved, sustainable development, which means that no matter how fast or how far development is, it is still continuing to be sustainable over the years, and also to maximize
So sorry, that's a technical problem. So I will continue for Loveline's point. So the goals for our course, environmental science and management, it means to minimize the environmental degradation. As we all know that Malaysia is a developing country that at the same time the economic is increasing, but at the same time the environmental problems also rising, right? So therefore we need a sustainable development for it. And in this we have a sharing session after this for the sustainable development goals. There are 17 goals for to be achieved in 2030. And next, this course is means to maximize humans benefits. Sorry, Chachi, back to the previous slide. All right. So it means to maximize the humans benefits. And lastly, the goals means to control the hazards. As we all know that environmental pollution does creates a lot of emissions, pollutants, yeah, that we need to take care of. Yep. So moving to the next slide. So there's no contradiction here. So what is good for the environment is also good for those living in that environment. For example, the plants, animals, and of course our human, the people. So what are the effects of improper environmental management? Yeah. So yeah. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, so environmental science and management actually is a multidisciplinary course, which means that environmental managers can help to make decisions that benefits the environment and society in general. So later Chai will explain about the course, what will we learn, and what will we do for our course later. Yep. Moving on to the next slide. All right. Chai Chi will continue after this.
All right. Now I'm going on for my slide is the what is happening nowadays. We need to concern about what is happening surrounding us, not only the society, the politics, the news. We also need to take care of our environment. So there are many pollutions, such as soil pollution, air pollution, and water pollution. But despite the pollution, climate change is become a significant issue now. Climate change could lead to rising of temperature around Mother Earth, changing snow and rain patterns, melting of ice, etc. These environmental issues need to be solved as humankind is the major cause of this rising present. Besides, the environmental issues are not only affecting animals and plants, the environment only. They also affecting us, the humankind, because this is like a karma. So these issues could decrease the water usable around the earth. Higher temperature and soil degradation will lead to the crops to cannot grow. The air pollution can lead to the acid rain and the rising of respiratory system problems. Thus, we need to take action to solve or prevent this problem becomes more significant for now. So what will we learn from this course, this program? We can learn about the sphere. The spheres in terms of the environments are biosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere, atmosphere, and enterosphere. Biospheres means that the sphere of living organisms, but hydrosphere is a sphere of water, including ocean, river, ice, and water vapor, etc. Geosphere is the earth itself. the minerals, rocks, and landforms of the surface of an interior. And entrosphere is the part of the environment that is made or modified by humans for use in human activities and human habitats. Despite of that, we also learn about the sustainable development. The sustainable development is we learn about the 17 goals by the 17 goals. So this will further discussed by Loveline after this. So we also learn about the EIA, and ESH. EIA is Environmental Impact Assessment. ERA, which is ERA, is Environmental Risk Assessment, and ESH is Environmental Safety and Health. ESH, sorry. EIA is a process and to identify and predict the impact on the environment and on man's health by interpreting and communicating information about the impacts. EIA is main for impacts, while ERA is main for the risks. EIA is the generic terms for the series of tools and environmental risks and the formations and judgment about them. While ESH is clear about the health and safety of employees and the public as well as the environments from hazards associated with the workplace. So environmental health is concerned with all aspects, the natural and built environments that affect the health of individuals and the population in general. Occupational health is especially within the workplace, about employees, about the workers. So in this program, we not only concerned about the environment, we care about
I'm sorry, Chaiki. Can you move your microphone a bit further? A bit further from because the sound is quite breaking. Okay, can you try it now? We can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, it's much more clear now. Everyone, we're sorry for the technical issue. And Chaiki, you can proceed now.
All right, it's okay. I think the internet problem. So, thank you. So, I proceed for my part. For the next is the environmental ethics laws and policy, because environmental law is important to works to protect land, air, water, and soil. So, the negligence of this law will result in worse punishments like fines, community service, and in extreme cases, is jail. Without these environmental laws, the government would not be able to punish people who are treated the environmental poorly. So the case will become more serious. We also learn about the management of is the water and wastewater management and waste management. Water management is to control and movement of water resource to minimize the damage to life and property and to maximize efficient benefit use. Well, so this is very important. Wastewater management is to clean and protect water. This means that after the treatment, the water must be clean enough to be used by people for drinking water, washing purpose, and by the industrial for commercial purpose. So, and it also must be clean enough to release to the oceans, lakes, and rivers by the standard stated. The waste management is important because we need to minimize the amount of waste being disposed into landfill or incineration plants. Here, the disposal means the final step or the end life of product, which is cannot be recycled, reused, or reclamation, etc. Thus, waste management is important to minimize the wastage of resources. We also learn about the ecology. The ecology is learning about the biodiversity methods to conserve or preserve it. Last, we also do about the research and literature review. The PBL is problem-based learning. We have a topic of title about the problems, and we do research or do much of literature review to gain more information. So we need to also we have to research in the research is terms of labs or literature review, because we need to find more information about the topic. This method, research and PBL or literature review, help us more understand the lessons from different perspectives.
And Chaiki, I think you're muted. Can you try to speak? Yeah. Yeah, I think you're muted. Do you mute your microphone? Can you try to unmute and we can't hear your voice. Okay, in the meantime, while Anchaiki is facing her technical issue, maybe Miss Anjashin can continue for her.
Okay. All right. So, just now we talked about the research and the PBL, which means the problem-based learning. Yep. So, we will, so under the PBL, our lecturer will give a topic for us. Then we will do the interviews and also the research literature review as well. And yeah, from the PBL we will learn the topic related, such as in how to manage the waste, how Malaysia they manage the waste. All right, so you can find us through the Facebook SPAS Club UM. SPAS stands for Science Pengurusan Alam Sekitar, or our IG UM SPAS Club. So moving on to the next slide. All right, so our program consists of 7 semesters, and we will go for 3.5 years for the duration, and it's a full-time study. And the fees for our batch is 1,090 ringgit per sem. And yeah, our program is under Faculty Science, under Institute of Biology department, and our program is under bachelor's degree level, and our field is under life science, physical science, and also under applied science. All right, so moving on to the next slide. All right, so I will explain about the activities that we have done for the past few years, and also for our batch. So next slide. All right, so we have first we have the class activities and also the labs activities. And under Unisteam Laya, there's also social engagement course where we will communicate and contribute to the outside society. And yeah, for my batch, we went to Kampung Gajah to participate in the various activities to help the needy, besides spreading environmental concerns in primary schools as well as secondary schools. So we also have interesting field trips to have a better understanding of the courses. But yeah, due to COVID, we don't have much field trip, but yeah, we are still looking forward to it. So for our second year, for example, during our biomonitoring course, we went to Jelebu Negeri Sembilan, where we learned about the organisms such as insects and also algae, to learn about the quality of the habitat on site. Yeah, so we did some pitfall traps and bring the organisms back to our lab to have the examination, to have the observation. So Other than that, we also went to Jeram landfill and also Indra Water Consortium to have a better understanding of the sewerage and also the waste treatment. So in short, we are not only focused on the lectures only, but we also have lots of activities in the SPAS. So as I stated, SPAS in Malay stands for Sains Perusahaan Alam Sekitar. So in the abbreviation, we state it as SPAS. So you can see from the picture that there's a My Safe Food Ramadan program. This is a program that we cooperated with the Pemuda Gema KL. It's an NGO. It's an NGO that we help to distribute the extra foods from the hawker stores to the residents nearby the stores. So besides, we also volunteer in the programs such as Earth Day celebration in the Port Dickson, where we took part in the replantation of the coconut trees around the residential area of the Port Dickson. So apart from taking part in the programs, there's a environmental run towards the zero plastic that is held by our seniors with the theme of towards zero plastic. So in this run, the participants not only ran for the health, they also learn about the plastic pollution in the ocean nowadays, where this plastic pollution actually has a serious impact on the living life underwater, especially for the turtle, who always dies due to the mistake plastic as food. So last but not least, so we will hold an annual dinner every year to strengthen our relationship bonds within our SPAS members, not only within the members, but also with our lecturers as well. All right, so moving on to the next slide. So love, yeah.
Yeah. So, as you all heard just now, we do a lot of things in the environmental management course. We go to places and we meet a lot of people. We don't only just stay in the labs and in the lecture halls, but we also interact and engage with the public. Part of the reason why is because we are very much a multidisciplinary course. We are dabbling in a lot of different sort of sciences and also a little bit of social science, in which we have to conduct surveys with the people outside, and then you'll have to sit down with the public and actually listen to them and listen to their concerns about the environment. So how do we prepare ourselves for this? Well, we firstly prepare ourselves by conducting research. So we conduct our research, and it's a bit of a challenge in this course because our research is just absolutely spread all over the place. We can't stay primarily in biology only, but we can also enter into, for example, chemistry and into physics. An example of this is actually my FYP. Even though I'm very much in the Institute of Biology Sciences here in UM, I find myself often dipping into research papers from polymer chemistry or material sciences. And because of that, we need a lot of critical thinking and comprehension to truly understand what is going on when we read all of these research papers. And it is a challenge, but it's really fun because at the end of the day, you can actually synthesize a really good piece of scientific writing that not only contributes to the scientific body of knowledge, but also to the general knowledge of the public around us. And when we're able to do this, it's really, really rewarding. However, all of these are challenges. For example, when you enter the lab, you're going to be met with a lot of new different types of equipment and new methods. And some of this equipment is really expensive. And when you hold it up, you can feel yourself trembling because the lab assistant has told you that it costs 10,000 ringgit to buy a piece of the equipment. And because our course is like a course where we need to go for field trips and we need to go out to approach people, you need a lot of people skills. I admit, when I first entered this course, I was not a very good people person. But as I did a lot of the research, I did the PBL, I went for all of these field trips, I find myself slowly gaining these skills in order to communicate with people better and in order to make to work better as in a team. So these are some of the challenges that come from the environmental management course, because we are very much a multidisciplinary and very hands-on course. Yeah, so that's all from me regarding the challenges of environmental management. The next slide, please.
Okay. All right. So, going back to me, so I will be explaining about the job opportunity job opportunities for the environmental science and management graduates. So after listening to all the study scopes and interesting activities for this course, presented by Love and Chai Chi, so have you ever wondered what are the jobs available after the graduation? So actually the job scopes are in a wide range that as long as we can help to contribute in saving the earth environment. As I stated just now, Malaysia is a developing country where economic development is on a rising trend, and therefore environmental concerns such start to rise simultaneously. So therefore, environmental jobs are growing in order to sustain the environment. It depends on how we want to expand our environmental careers using the environmental knowledge that we have learned, either in the government or private sectors. And UST Malaya acts as a platform for us to polish the knowledge and application in the environment. And we, as the environmental students, will be the product who are rich with the environmental knowledge, and we are ready to contribute to make our environment more sustainable. And moving on to the next slide. Yeah, generally there are some career directions for us that we can refer to. So we can see from the slide, it's first is the environmental scientist. It's a most common job that we have heard, where we can do further research studies such as through environmental toxicologies to study the harmful effects of various chemical, biological, and physical agents on living organisms. And environmental scientists will spend their time mostly doing laboratory work analysis. And for those who like to do lab research, this environmental science and management course can be one of your choices as well. Next, we have environmental energy related officer, and this officer mainly deals with renewable and clean energy, such as we have can be energy conservation officers to generate energy efficiency improvements in public through practical solutions, education, and also the promotion of renewable energy sources. And Malaysia is actually in the hope to achieve the target of more renewable energy generation. And for your information, Malaysia is in huge potential to solar energy, biomass energy, and also hydro energy. And it's our responsibility to explore the alternative clean energy resources before the non-renewable resources such as fuel, oil, and gas are being depleted. And besides, we also have the green technology. It's a sector, it's an emerging sector that we used environmental friendly and sustainable technology to create products which are also more environmental friendly. The third is environmental education. Is a academician like our lecturers, and we also can be environmental education officer to spread the environmental concerns awareness, such as in schools and through the campaigns as well. And environmental education is very important that it should be implemented since young to have a deeper understanding of environmental issues and to develop problem-solving skills. And yeah, prevention is better than cure. So every bad environmental consequences should be prevented before it becomes worse. And it's the same when we talk about the environmental protection. Fourth, we have the environmental consultants, where we mainly deal with EIA documentation. So for EIA, it stands for Environmental Impact Assessment, and it's a process of evaluating the likely environmental impacts of a project development. And it is significant for this EIA to assess potential environmental impacts and have mitigation measures before the project is being developed. Okay, so fifth is the Safety, Health, and Environment Officer. This officer ensures that an organization is in compliance with environmental regulations and standards, such as that related to pollution and also waste management. So this safety, health, and environment officer makes sure that the working places are always in safe, hygienic, and healthy conditions. And we have a senior who is working as safety assistant in Loyal Engineering under the Department of Health, Safety, Security, and Environment, where she helped to do environmental sampling, conducting daily monitoring on environmental sites, and also conduct health and safety briefing to the new employees. And last, we have the environmental auditor. So this auditor helps to audit the environmental policies and procedures of a company, agency, or business, and setting out protocols for better implementation of environmental policy and standards. And I'm sure all of you have heard about the Environmental Quality Act 1974. It is a most common environmental law that is being applied in Malaysia. So in short, being involved in environmental field enables us to interact and cooperate with the professional people from different fields. And actually, we have other alternatives to be proceeded with the master and also PhD. Right. Moving on to the next slide. Okay, this is an article that I would like to share with you all. This is article from Lay newspaper Cosmo, and inside the article, we can see this is our senior. She's Linda, a very talented and creative girl in making beautiful and functional handmade products out of the recyclables. So you can see from the pictures that the main products from her are the recycled paper. She used the recycled paper to make the beautiful cards, and also the plastic pouch using the plastic wrappers. And this makes her an opportunity for her to do the part-time sales through social platforms such as Instagram, and also marketed through the Shopee. And for me, it is indeed an inspiring article that we actually know that unwanted waste that we usually throw away can be reused. And we also hope that through this article, there are more environmental awareness arise through the environmental programs like my senior did. And besides saving the environment, we also can learn how to earn the money. And yeah, moving on to the next slide. Yeah, this is the last slide for me. So I would like to share a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, like, Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. So I will continue. The session will be continue to love.
Yes. Okay. So now we've learned more about our environmental management course, what we do and what we learn. But I'd like to point your attention. We can really apply what we have learned in this course, and it is in something called Sustainable Development Goals. I'm sure some of you may have heard these Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, but I'd like to just take a little bit of time to introduce to all of you what these goals are, why they are there, and how we can achieve them. So in the next slide, I'm going to introduce to you a little bit more about these SDGs. So I'm pretty sure some of you may have seen these colorful squares. All right, there are 17 squares in total, and in each one of these squares is a goal, a sustainable development goal that all countries are supposed to be working towards. So if you can see, these goals are quite varied. They start from something like no poverty all the way to something like peace, justice, and strong institutions. They look very different from each other, yet one of the main beliefs of these SDGs is that all of these contribute to the furtherment of the development of our society. So in the next slide, I'm going to just tell you a little bit more. Okay, so all of these goals, those colorful little squares that you see, represent global goals. Global goals are goals that all countries should aspire to. And they're not just, it's not just all empty talk, or, it's just all bark and no bite, but rather it is something that all UN member states have agreed to and have signed in 2015. And all of these 17 goals should lead towards 3 points. Firstly, that poverty is ended. Second, that the planet is protected. And third, that peace and prosperity is available for all. So if you could just click yes. So how is it related to environmental management? Well, actually, environmental management plays a big role in a few of these SDGs. These are the big and direct roles. For example, in SDGs 2, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You can look them up. You can even go back to the previous slide. I'm not going to explain all of it today. But rather, I'm going to explain also why environmental management can not only help to further these goals, but also to help further the other goals. So if I can click on to the next point, the very nature of these SDGs is that they are integrated. So what integrated means is that action in one area of these SDGs will affect outcomes in others, and that development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. So that's how environmental management can play a huge role, because we know that advancement in one of these goals can actually lead to advancements in a lot of other goals. Okay, so for example, into my next slide, please. Yeah. So for example, there's the second goal, SDG 2, is zero hunger. So basically what this means is that food insecurity is completely eliminated. It's completely eliminated. So how we can do this as environmental management scientists is that we can contribute techniques or contribute methods in order to have better agricultural practices. We can help people to distribute food better. So that's one of the ways that we can contribute as environmental management scientists. And then number 6, clean water and sanitation. Just now what Chai Chi said is that a part of our course is actually learning how to manage wastewater, learning how to turn it into something that is not going to be polluting, but rather beneficial to our communities. And then lastly, sustainable cities and communities. So what it means is that we want to provide good housing, good transport, and we also want to lessen the environmental impact of cities. How can we do this? We can promote renewable energy, we can promote green buildings. If you are from a little bit about architecture, you will know that there is a movement, which is the green building movement, which basically means making buildings that are more environmentally friendly, with environmentally friendly materials, and also new technology that help us to reduce our energy consumption. So all of these SDGs sound really good, and they sound really amazing. Like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could all achieve all of these SDGs together? But they also seem really far off. What can you do as an individual to help to advance these SDGs? And so I'd like to just give you a little tip. The first step that you can always take is to educate yourself. So in my next slide, I'm going to show you 2 QR codes. All right, 2 QR codes, and these QR codes lead you to official UN websites. Don't worry, I'm not going to lead you to some scammer websites, okay? These are all official UN websites, and these websites, the first QR code is actually a website for the Lazy Person's Guide to Saving the World. So even from the title itself, you know that actually the steps towards making SDGs come true starts with something simple, something small, and something that doesn't cost a lot of your time or energy. So within this website, you will find 4 stages, and each stage has a few steps that you can take in order to advance these SDGs. So you can just quickly scan the QR codes and you'll be led towards this website. The second website that I have for you is actually a website for an app. So this app is called the What Can You Do app, and it's an app launched by the United Nations. And it is an app that gamifies the experience of helping to advance SDGs. So what that means is that this app will regularly monitor your progress by giving you a checklist of things you can do, for example, that week. For example, it will say something like recycle 3 plastic bottles. So once you've done that, you can check it on the app, and then you'll be given like points. And you can see your progress throughout your entire journey of trying to advance these SDGs. So it's really fun, it's really colorful, and it's really well developed. And now I'd like to point out why isn't it free? Actually, they could have just made it free, but it costs $1.99. And the reason why is because the UN decided they wanted to make sort of like a symbolic price, because 10% of the world's population today lives on less than $1.99 US dollars daily. So it is actually the hardcore poverty line, and UN really wanted to stress this point, which is that around the world there are people who actually live on less than 8 ringgit every single day. And so these two websites are something that you can definitely refer to. I can just quickly scan the QR code and you'll be led to that website. And I just want to really encourage you to continue to educate yourself on these sustainable development goals. Even though you might not choose to enter environmental management, or you think to yourself, this isn't really my thing, I'd like to really point out and stress it. At the end of the day, these are global goals that all of us should achieve and all of us should try to aspire to. And big goals, can be achieved by starting with one small step. So that's all from me. Thank you for listening to a little bit about SDGs, and I hope that I can inspire you, encourage you to start following these SDGs today. And so we're going to proceed into the Q&A session. Okay, so the quiz time is going to actually be before the Q&A session, because after the Q&A session, because we realized that there are some questions, and I'd like to go for the first question, which is actually if we have a project or company visits that expose the students to the real world problem or working environment. Yeah, so yes, we do. We definitely do. First of all, it's internship. Every single science course does offer an internship course, if I'm not mistaken, which you will take around your third year. So for me, I'll be taking it during my mid-semester break. You have an internship where you will find and you will work with companies in the real world that are either environmental consultants, or maybe you choose to work with the government in, for example, the Department of Environment, or maybe MOSTI. So you can definitely get this experience during your internship. But also, I like to stress out that a lot of our lecturers have close connections or close ties to the industry. So they will always be telling us, they'll always be giving us feedback on, okay, this is what we're actually going to focus on in the industry, and this is actually what is happening. So we are quite updated. We are quite we know a lot about what is going on in the industry. And then lastly, we also have those field trips. So just now you heard Jashin say something about IWK and Jeram Landfill. So these are actually companies that are definitely active in this sector that we are working in. Okay. All right. So for the next question we have is the difference between environmental management and environmental health and safety industry. So is it the same? It's not the same, but environmental management is like a big field, a big umbrella, and underneath this umbrella falls environmental health and safety. So that is why we learn it in our environmental management course. That we are not completely focused on environmental health and safety, but you can definitely get this course, and having this course actually certifies you to work in this field. So the reason why it falls underneath environmental management is because environmental managers understand and know that you can't have people's health, you can't have people's safety if you don't take care of the environment around them. For example, if your company pollutes the water or pollutes the air, who is going to get it? It's actually also the workers, right? So that's why environmental health and safety also falls under environmental management, even though they are not exactly the same. Yeah. And I think for the last question is the difference between environmental management and ecology biodiversity. So thank you so much for asking this question. I actually face this question quite a lot, and I have a friend who is in the ecology biodiversity course, and we always have to explain to other people, no, we're not in the same course. And the reason why is because environmental management tends to focus more on people and the environment, and also abiotic factors. So what I mean by abiotic factors is water, air, your soil. If you notice, like what Chai Chi presented just now, she was talking about the 5 spheres. So this is air, water, soil. These are non-living factors of our environment. So as environmental managers, we tend to focus more on that. So ecology biodiversity tends to focus on the living parts of our environment, your plants and your animals and how they interact. So that is how we differ. If you prefer to work with living things like plants and animals, I think ecology biodiversity would be a great fit for you. But if you prefer to look at things like water, soil, air, and also how we interact with industry, then I think environmental management will be right up your alley. And so for a question from N, um, in the current situation, did COVID-19 affect environmental management sector, good or bad? This is actually quite a broad question. In terms of whether our environment is getting better because of COVID-19, I would say it's a twofold, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, there's an increase in plastics pollution. And plastics pollution is really going crazy at the moment just because we have a lot of disposable medical waste, such as your masks, waste from all of these, the sudden influx of COVID-19 patients. We can't reuse them. We have to throw them away because they might spread the infection to other people. So in one aspect, that is really detrimental to the environmental management sector, because we are trying to figure out how do we manage the problem of waste, right? But on the other hand, a lot of other things have also improved. For example, we are starting to get better at managing our food waste. Last time, food waste was at an all-time high, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic and people started going out less, people started to stockpile food in their homes, we learned to really manage food well. And so we managed to cut down a little bit on food waste. And of course, because we don't go out, we don't use our cars as much, we don't go to work, or we don't go to school, we can cut down on a lot of greenhouse emissions. In terms of jobs, in terms of career prospects, I think nothing much has changed, simply because the demand has remained the same. In fact, I would say the demand has perhaps gotten a little bit higher, as environmental management continues to be a sector that people are becoming more and more interested in today. And so, yeah. Another question is, what is the thing you look forward to the most after graduating and pursuing your careers in this field? For me personally, I entered environmental management not because I was a tree hugger, that stereotypical hippie, vegan, she likes to hug trees, she loves animals, that kind of thing. I didn't really enter into this environmental management course because I was like that. Granted, there are some people who are really into this whole lifestyle, but I wasn't like that. I was really interested in this career because I really wanted to help people. I'm from Sarawak. I live in Kuching, Sarawak, and in Sarawak, I think especially we can really see the connection between people and nature, just simply because we depend so much on the environment. And I realized that if our environment is degraded, if our environment is not being taken care of, then the people suffer the most. You'll have people who are running out of jobs, and people who are unable to continue their livelihoods just because the natural resources are not being taken care of, are not being conserved. So that is what I look forward to the most, which is that I want to go back to Sarawak and I want to really serve my state, really serve my people in this particular area, which is environmental management. So I'm pretty sure the answers for this question differs according to everyone. Everyone enters this course for their own reasons, but personally, that is mine. So thank you so much for asking me this question. So I think I can move on now to the quiz time session, and from here on out, Jashi and Chachi will be the ones taking over. So thank you so much for asking all these questions. I was really interested in them.
Hi, all right. So I will continue with the quiz. So maybe for the first question, I would like to ask a very general questions. So as we all know, there are some important environmental awareness dates that are designated to creating awareness of environmental issues. So does any of you know what are the dates? Maybe can list out one or two that you all know, environmental awareness dates that we celebrated. Is there any answers for this? there's one day that we celebrated recently that we switch off the light for 1 hour. Yes, Earth Day. It's on 22nd of the April. Yeah. All right. So yes. So moving on, I have another question here. So 3R that we all know is reduce, reuse, and recycle, right? So some might extend this idea up to 7R in a circular flow. So does any one of you know what is the 7Rs? Yeah, repurpose is one of the 7Rs. We have another 6. Refuse. Yeah, correct. Refuse. Oh, it's the first time you heard about 7R. Yeah, it's quite new concept for the 7Rs. Yeah, rethink, refuse, reduce, repurpose, reuse, recycle, and rot. Yeah, there are 7Rs. This is quite a new concept after the 3Rs. All right, so I have another question here. So, does any one of you know what are the renewable energy resources available in Malaysia now that has a huge potential for us to explore? Renewable energy resources. Yep. Yeah, solar, correct. Any others? Water, yeah, water, hydro energy, yes. Solar, yeah, correct. And one more, we have also the biomass energy. All right, so Chai Chi, you can continue the session. Thank you.
Anyone can hear me? Hello?
Yes,
Can
yes, I can
me?
hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
My program. Okay, thank you. So my question is, what are the 5 spheres and their meaning that I mentioned just now? Okay, correct. Biosphere means life. Any answer? Yeah, hydrosphere mean water. Actually, not lithosphere. In lithosphere is in geology. In the environmental is the geosphere. Yeah, the land, the earth itself. Another 2. Yeah. No, psychrosphere. There is geology. No, the another 2 is surround us. We need to like the two sphere is like most is near Earth, nearest atmosphere for air, and another one. And the last one is anthrosphere, mean the human habitats, human activities, the parts that being distributed to the human for their activities. It means anthrosphere, ANTHRO, anthrosphere. So okay, then my next question is, how many percentage of the water on the earth are qualified as clean, as fresh water, and how many percentage of them are usable? Yeah, correct. 0.03% are usable. So only 3% of the is fresh water, and only 0.03% of it. 3% is the fresh water, include the glaciers, ice, what underground water, while only 0.03 of the water of the 3% of the fresh water are usable, can be used for human needs. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so interesting. Okay, before we end our session, does Ming Ern Jashin, Miss Ern Chai Chi, and Miss Loveline Ubo Martin have something to say? Anything to add?
No, I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
Yeah, all
How
right. Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to explain our course. Yeah, thank you.
Same for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to Miss Loveline Ubo Martin, Miss Ern Chai Chi, and Miss Ern Jashin for the interesting sharing session delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, there is a feedback form posted by BSF team in the live chat. So kindly fill up the form, as your feedback will be counted in choosing the winner for the best presenter. Before we end our session for today, let's give our brightest smile for photography session.
Okay, everyone ready? Okay, give your brighter smile and give your brighter smile in 3, 2, 1. Okay, wait a moment. Okay. Okay, another one in 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Again, I would like to thank the presenters and all of you for attending our second BSF Science Exhibition 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be having our third session with microbiology student bodies on 12 p.m. in the same channel. So make sure to stay tuned. Till then, Assalamualaikum and thank you. We'll see all of you in a bit. Bye.